So hi Sujay, how are you?
Good.
Okay, Sujay. So let us start with the interview, and this is a mock interview. So we will be helping you with the frequently asked questions, interview questions and answers also in the top level companies.
Okay.
And even if you don't know the answer, feel free to tell us, and we will be covering the answers at the end of the interview.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you mean by wrapper classes in Java?
Wrapper class is nothing but converting primitive data types into objects.
Mhm. And do you know about auto boxing and unboxing?
Yes, like auto boxing is nothing but converting wrappers into object, like integer, like integer object is called new integer, and
Mm,
after the unboxing is like an object what is keeping like int I is equal to object we are keeping here.
right. So basically, the auto boxing and unboxing, it allows easy conversion between primitive types and their corresponding wrapper classes.
Yes.
So what is enum in Java?
Enum is nothing but like enum like keyword we use for like we can store many things in array level.
Mhm.
But we use very less in terms of in Selenium. We use very less enum. Mostly we don't use enum.
Right. And enum constants are implicitly static, and those are common. So what is Java Reflection API, and what is the significance to have it?
Like Java reflection API is nothing but like when we create object of reflection API, we can know the how many methods we have. We are able to know the what is what class, like how many classes, how many methods. Like we print the method names, everything. Like we know knowing the reflection, what's going on.
And can you throw some light on the significance of having it?
Like significance, like in the class level, we can know how many method names, what are the method names, what we have. That's what we can know with the help of that.
Okay. So one more thing over here is like the frameworks are there, such as Spring is there, Hibernate is
Okay.
there, or servers such as Tomcat, JBoss. So they are not possible to have and without using Reflection API. So even if we don't use the Reflection API in normal programming, it's very
Okay.
important to at least have it. No? So what is composition in Java?
Like composition, like we use like composition, like inheritance, like aggregation, composition, I'm not sure. Like for example, if you use extends keyword, like it's composition. Like if you use, we create a object of the class, like it's called aggregation, something like.
Mhm.
No,
And it is basically for a has a relationship in classes.
yeah, that's is a has a. Is a means extend we use is a has a means like we create object and we able to access the method. It's called has a.
Right. So it is achieved by using instance variables that refer to the other objects. So what is anonymous inner class in Java?
Can you say again what you mean? Anonymous inner class,
Yeah.
like default inner class.
Yeah, one is a default inner class, another is anonymous inner class.
I think class loader maybe not sure.
Yeah. So let me help you with it.
Okay.
So a local inner class without a name is known as anonymous inner class in Java. And it is defined and instantiated by a single statement, and it can always extend a class or implement an interface as well. Okay. Now what are the different types of class loaders in Java?
Different types of class loaders.
Hmm.
Can you give me some hint?
Sure, I'll give you one of the hint. So there are three different types of
Okay.
class loaders. Out of that, one is bootstrap class loader. So it loads
What?
JDK internal classes and loads rt.jar file and other core classes as well. So now two are remaining. So if you can recall those two.
What is the first time? Can you say again?
Yeah, first one is bootstrap class loader.
Okay. No idea.
Okay, no problem. So another two are extensions class loader and another one is system class loader. Now this extensions class loader, it would load the classes from the JDK extensions directory, and systems class loader would load the classes from the current class path.
Okay.
Okay. So what does super keyword do?
Super keyword is nothing but, for example, like if you are using keyword called extension in the parent class, any variable with a keyword called super, it's scripting the parent one.
Mhm. Right. So it can be used to access the super class method.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when you are doing the automation, so what are the challenges in the projects that you have faced so far?
In automation, the challenge is sometimes like if you're trying to run the script, like if it's in iframe, it shows no such element exception, like some synchronization effects. Challenges with buffer reader, like sometimes if you want to retrieve the value, dynamically changes into the parser value, you use buffer reader, buffer writer, and some dynamic web tables that keep on changing. And XPath dynamically changes. It's very hard to find XPath. In that we use parent, sibling, text is called visible text. And some maybe date provider. You need to enter the date to book a flight. Something the most challenging challenges I faced in automation.
Right. And then there are times when you have CAPTCHA and barcode readers also in the functionality. So those
Yeah,
are,
it's an API. I got like if you are working in mobile applications, they are like
yeah. Sorry, you were mentioning something?
handle barcode. Like if you work in mobile applications, but whenever you work on mobile applications, there we can find barcodes. Like you're using API called Zinc API to handle barcodes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Then when someone asks you about, project challenges, you have highlighted most of the technical challenges, right? Then over here, you can also add that there are also time pressure and deadlines. And then sometimes
Yes.
requirements get changed in the middle of the project. Then there is some migration functionality also that is introduced. So you have to automate both the kind of database, the previous one and the current one. Then one also aspect of this challenges can be that the bugs are taking most of the time in getting closed. Hence, the automation scripts are running, but they are getting failed because the bugs are not yet fixed fully. Okay, so these are few of the challenges that you can highlight. Okay, now which framework were you using in your recent? Which framework are you using in your recent organization?
Right now we are using Cucumber framework. Before we used to use hybrid. Right now we are using Cucumber framework
Okay.
with test engine.
Okay. So is the framework applicable for UI automation only, or is it applicable for any other API as well?
Like what you mean by API? Like in terms of
Like we know we are integrating REST assured, in the along with the Selenium. REST assured, we are
like
coding in the Java. So
got it. But not in this project. Like before, what we use in hybrid, we use rest assured for we use rest assured for my last project, not in this project.
okay, great. So which are the browsers the framework is supporting to execute automation?
It used in UI level Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. In headless level Chrome option, HTML WebDriver, Photon.js.
Okay. So how do you manage the run results, reporting or logs? They are which thing you are using for those things?
Like reports, like we use extends reports. Like once we run the scripts, like automatically generate the reports in extend, like it generates extend reports in report level itself. Like what are the test cases got failed? It got the link level itself. When we click the link, it will open the screenshot. What where it got failed exactly in our framework.
Okay. So how many members of the team you are having?
Like now in our automation, we are 8 members. Like 8 members in India and 5 members in China.
Okay. So how do you manage the source code while having multiple environments across the big team?
Like source code, what exactly what China team do, they develop the script level itself and they push in the Git. And what what we do, like we pull from the Git. And our job is to run the script always, and we need to do maintenance, like what are the test cases got failed, run again and again, and it is really script level issue or really it's a bug. We need to confirm once we think it's really a bug. Then our framework is attached to HPLM. We give LM is called test case ID. And again, we run the script. Once what are the test case getting failed, automatically update the LM. The test case got failed with screenshot level itself. Like manually, we don't need to do anything.
Right.
So
So
our job is maintenance.
yeah, it is good. So how many times this automation suite is executed in your organization?
Like so, automation, so it depends. Like once like the build is stable, like build is stable is will got deployed and build is stable. We keep on running our suite.
Okay. So it is running throughout the entire day?
Yeah, like if test cases are more, like we run in the morning again. We got night scheduling. Like on the framework level itself, like once the build deploy at night 10 o'clock, we should schedule the time level itself. We don't use anything like they keep that 12 o'clock time. Once the 12 o'clock time, automatically the build will get deployed from a script level itself.
Okay. You are mentioning about deployment. So how does it get deployed?
For example, like if build is stable, it's got deploy already, we run the script. For example, the build is getting deployed in the night anytime, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because our whole team in Japan. Like in our framework itself, like we don't use anything, like we set the time, like current time is equal to this time. This we write the time where build should deploy. We give the time level itself. Once the time is 1 o'clock PM, automatically it will run the script level, our framework. Now, you know, before we used to use Jenkins where we used to give the time level, but now in the script level itself, we're giving time. It makes us easy. Like don't need to rely on Jenkins always.
Okay. So you don't use any continuous integration tool.
Yeah, not in this project. Before we used to use Jenkins. Right now we are not using, but we are thinking to use Bamboo, not Jenkins right now.
Okay. Great. Okay. So how do you verify the broken links in a web page using the Java Selenium program?
Yeah, like for broken links, like what we use, driver.find element by tag name A. After that, we used to run for loop. After that, get attribute href and string D. And we use HTTP URL connection is equal to HTTP URL HTTP URL open connection connect and request and response. If response is more than 400, it's broken link.
Broken link, right. Now, how will you handle the SSL certificate issue in the Selenium?
Yeah, we have desired capabilities. We need to create object desired capabilities. Object.set capabilities is equal to exception so that we can handle them.
Okay. So have you come across any, automating the drop-down values where you are also checking whether they are sorted or not? So have you come across this kind of scenario?
Yeah, we came across like we can do like drop-down, like for example, we need to select is called new select and select is called get options list. We need to send them list. Again, we need to run in the for loop. Again, we need to use list dot object. Again, list dot add everything in that. Again, we need to collection dot sort. And we need to add that what we created in list object, so we can sort everything what in drop down.
Yeah. Okay. Then is it possible to do parallel test execution in Selenium TestNG?
Yeah, we can do parameters, like we can use parameters and we can parameter name is called Chrome, IE, Firefox, and it will run 3 times like what we given in parameter. Or you can use Selenium grid also. You can keep on running with the help of Selenium grid.
Right. Okay. What do you know about page object model?
Page object model, there are 2 types of page object model. One is page object model, one is page factory. Like page factory is more advanced than page object model, where it can handle exceptions and when we can use list of web elements also.
Right. And what about page object model? Like, can you explain something about that?
Yeah, page object model. Like page object model is nothing but like in a URL we have different types of pages. So with the help of page object model, we are storing all web elements in one page, where we are using keyword called find by dot id by id. In page factory, you are using at the rate of find by web element object. Page factory use keyword called page factory dot init element, where we can page object model. We are just storing web elements, and in other script we are calling them again in page factory. In page object model.
Right. So basically, keeping all the methods and elements intact for one of the respective pages, and then we are trying to automate it.
Call them again.
Yeah. So, yeah. Please go ahead.
We are storing our web elements in one page, and again in running lab, calling them with the creating the object or class, and we are sending the send key, everything. We are running them.
Right. So, have you heard about garbage collection in Java?
Yeah, garbage like garbage collection. We have keywords called finally, finalize. We use keyword called GC. Automatically, what was objects creating in class we're not using anymore, because once we create any object with a keyword called new, it will store the memory in heap area. So unwanted, we're creating objects unwanted, we're not using anymore. Automatically, JVM call garbage collector and destroy them, and it will free some memory in our heap area.
Right. It is automatically deallocating memory is handled automatically by the garbage collector.
Yeah,
And
because
yeah.
Because sometimes we keep on creating objects of the class and storing the memory in the heap area. Sometimes we get exception out of memory. It's not good. Because with the help of GM, that it will destroy the objects what we are using anymore.
And if you can recall the code, not the entire code, but just the name of the function for running the garbage collector.
We use a keyword called finalize, and it's called again object.gc, I think.
Right. System.gc is one of the methods.
System.gc.
Right. That is the utility method, or you can also use runtime.getRuntime.gc again.
Okay.
Then what is serialization and deserialization?
Serialization, in a script level, what are the script we don't want to be part of the translating our code into network level. What is in the script level? If you don't want our code, we use a keyword called serialization. The whole code is not in part of our script level. If you don't deserialize, means if a keyword called transient, it will be not part of serialization.
Right. So basically, we can convert a Java object to a stream, that is called serialization. Okay, and once an object is converted to a stream, it can be saved to a file or sent over the network or used in socket connections as well. So which one would you prefer to go for, Java in the Java, pass by value or pass by reference?
So pass by value.
Pass by value. And why so?
Why it's easy, like pass the value, and it's we're creating object string s, and after that when we create in the class we are passing the value, but in reference, again we are referring the value, again we're creating the object, and we passing the object. Too much better keep passing the value.
Passing the value, right.
Now it's a two-time work. Pass reference.
Yeah, pass by reference is a more kind of a thing that is difficult, and pass by value is easy to be used. Now, like when we invoke any method, so a copy of these variables get passed and get stored in the stack memory of the method. So it is always we should prefer pass by value. Now, what is the difference between heap and stack memory?
Heap, there are two types of memory. Like for example, if you create the object, memory is allocated in heap area. Like if you use keyword called static, the memory is allocated in stack area. In objects and methods variable, memory is allocated in stack area. They compared to stack, heap area is more, and dynamically changes heap area, but stack is constant.
So heap memory is used by all those parts of application, whereas the stack memory is used only by one thread of execution. And as we know, memory management is done in the LIFO manner, last in first out, whereas it is most complex in heap memory because it is used globally. Okay. So whenever you are trying to automate the application, so recently, let's take an example of the last project in which you have done the automation. So how many test coverage you have got in that?
What you mean test collect? How many test cases you need to run daily, or like
No,
what
no.
you mean?
So test coverage or the automation coverage means, let's say if you had 1000 test cases in the test
Okay.
repository, and out
Okay.
of that you have automated 500 test cases. So that means 50% of test coverage you have achieved already.
Yes.
So what is the test coverage you have achieved in your last project?
I can't remember like how many test cases I have run. Like maybe 8 to 900 maybe. I'm not sure. Like we need to maintain. Like sometimes we run 50 test cases for a week. Like maybe it's like one day we used to run 50, not 50, maybe 10 test cases. I'm not can't recollect. But
Right. So out of 1000 test cases, you mean almost 800 are automated.
yes.
Okay. Now, which are the ones which are not, not possible to automate? Can you tell us few of those
Yeah,
scenarios?
yeah, yeah. In automation, like for example, recapture can't automate,
Mhm.
and in like we can automate only web-based application. We can't automate Windows-based application.
Mhm. Right.
Uh,
So
like
how we
OTP,
would, yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
I think we can't handle OTP in
Right,
Selenium.
OTP
Not
is
sure,
also not possible. Mhm. Then
but
what about the functionality or behavior when where we have to upload some files? So is it possible to automate?
yeah, we can automate files we use file size called new file, like we can refer by using that, and we can store the file, and we can retrieve the file with the help of that, and we can automate that.
Right. Or we can also use Venium driver. Sometimes we can integrate it with our Selenium framework. Let's say if some installer is there, which we have to automate. So that automation cannot be possible by Selenium. So what we would do is we would use the Venium driver to perform some of the clicks as installer is desktop based application.
Okay.
So this automation framework, is it integrated with the defect management tool? Let's say if out of 100 test cases that you have executed in the automation, 99
Okay.
test cases have run past and one test case is failing. So would the framework uh, log in those log in into the defect management tool and create a defect also for that? So is it handled into your framework?
Yeah, that's what I told before. Like our framework itself is integrated with HPLM itself.
Mhm.
Like in our what we got data sheets. Like in all data sheets, like we got ALM ID. We need to give the what like in ALM we got test sets. We need to give the test set ID. What test cases we're running. We are
Mhm.
sure that it's really big. We give the test case ID of that test set of that ALM. Once you run the script, automatically if it got failed, automatically upload all evidence in the that ALM ID. Like it's a tested, it's failed with screenshots, everything where you got click, where you got fill everything. So we don't need to do anything manually. Automatically, our framework itself upload all evidence in the defect management tool ALM.
Mhm. Great. Yeah, that is wonderful. Now let's say if there are some test cases which are bound to fail, right? Let's
Okay.
say if some negative test condition is there. Now
Okay.
I know a validation should come up when the field for a particular field, when some of the characters exceed 10, because the accept, let's say if there is one field that accepts only 10 characters. Now, if I
Okay.
enter more than 10 characters into that field, then it should give me a validation message. So this kind of automation scenarios are handled, or I can ask which are the negative conditions, which are the negative test cases that you have automated.
Like that's what like for example if like the minimum acceptance is 10, if you're able to enter more than 10, like if we throw in the if else statement else if we, else and assert dot fail automatically if we accept more than 10 things assert dot fail automatically the script gets failed automatically.
Right.
That's what we do normally with negative testing.
Okay, great. So it was nice talking to you, Sujay. We are done with the interview. Do you have any questions for us?
Can you let me know like what questions I said wrong? Like I will know in future.
Yeah, yes. So I think there was the all the Selenium and the framework pertaining questions. You have almost answered each and everything.
Okay.
There was couple of Java questions. Uh, yeah, about this different types of class loaders, right?
Okay.
So one was bootstrap class loader, then extensions
Okay.
class loader, and system class
Okay.
loader.
Okay.
Then there was the question about anonymous inner class, right?
Okay.
And then you can be also asked what is inner class. So
Okay.
both type of questions can come up. Uh,